Good morning, Scotland. Good morning, social media land. I hope you are well. It is Thursday, the 3rd of October, 2024. The debate over Scottish independence goes far beyond politics. It's about identity, security, and how we navigate change. For many Scots who vote to remain in the United Kingdom, their decision is often driven by a deeply rooted emotional and practical reasons. So this morning, we shall discuss that burning question. Are you yes yet? And if not, why? First of all, I don't believe that these Scots are anti-Scottish. Instead, they base their choices on their understanding of the world, their personal experiences and their anxieties about the unknown. However, when we take a closer look at the concerns that keep them tied to the Union, it becomes clear that independence might actually offer them the stability and the security that they seek. One of the strongest psychological factors behind opposition to independence is a behaviour we shall call risk aversion. Humans naturally avoid uncertainty, and when it comes to something as significant as constitutional change, the idea of the unknown becomes even more daunting. Independence, while full of potential, also involves stepping away from the familiar safety net. Leaving the UK would mean Scotland might have to rethink its currency, negotiate new trade agreements and find its place on the global stage that would understandably create anxiety for many. For those who favour the Union, there's comfort in what they already know. Their pensions are tied to the UK system, their businesses operate in a UK-wide market, and they see the pound as a reliable currency. In a world marked by economic instability, it's no surprise that the status quo feels the safer option. However, what some fail to see is that independence could actually offer greater financial security in the long run. With control over its own economy, Scotland could reinvest in its resources like oil and gas and renewable energy into its own infrastructure and its own people. Independence would mean fiscal autonomy, allowing Scotland to create tax policies tailored specifically to its own needs and priorities. It could drive local business growth and craft a financial environment that supports Scottish industries first. And then there's the question of identity. For many Scots, their identity is not just Scottish, but it's British as well. They see the United Kingdom as a shared project, a long-standing bond that spans centuries. Breaking that connection feels like rejecting a part of their history, a part of their culture. But identity isn't an all-or-nothing concept. Scots can embrace a deep sense of Scottish pride without letting go of their British identity. Independence doesn't mean severing ties with the past or erasing history. It means governing Scotland's future in a way that reflects the will of the Scottish people while still recognising shared history with the rest of the UK. The fear of the unknown is also intensified by how the independence debate is framed in the media. For years, the risks of independence have been emphasised while the potential rewards have often been downplayed. We see this played out in the media every day, and it's not just about independence, but the narrative of what is broadcast to us. The most recent example of this is that of the BBC Scotland's refusal to cover the scandal that is engulfing Keir Starmer's fledgling premiership, and it's bordering on criminal. BBC Scotland simply refused to cover Westminster despite the massive gravitational influence it exerts on Holyrood. It isn't just the donations and gift scandal, it's Labour's new policy announcement and U-turns, targeting the long-term sick and watering down the non-dom tax pledge. Both have serious and direct impacts on Scotland. Yet both are completely ignored by BBC Scotland. None of the station's political correspondents will go near anything remotely linked to Westminster. So bad is the censorship that even a demand from the SNP for an investigation into the worst of the scandal isn't being reported. Meanwhile, a gratuitous call from Anna Sarwar for a Scottish Government minister to be sacked makes it on to Reporting Scotland. This constant Scotland bad narrative conditions people to believe it, playing and manipulating their values. Unionist arguments typically focus on the dangers of leaving, reminding voters of what they might lose rather than what they might gain. This message taps into a natural fear of loss, making people more reluctant to change. However, A closer look shows us that staying in the Union presents its own set of risks, one that are not just significant, but could be even greater. Scotland's voice is often drowned out by England's larger population, and decisions made in Westminster frequently don't align with Scotland's interests. Remaining in the UK doesn't eliminate risk, it merely shifts it elsewhere. Again, let's use Brexit as an example of this. In 2016, Scotland voted overwhelmingly to remain in the European Union, yet it was forced to leave because of the overall UK vote. This highlights a fundamental democratic imbalance. Even within the Union, Scotland's political preferences can be overruled by decisions made elsewhere. Independence offers Scotland the opportunity to rejoin the EU, reclaiming the economic and social benefits of membership. So for those who fear the uncertainty of leaving the UK, it's worth asking, what uncertainty are we embracing by staying? Understanding why some Scots oppose independence means recognising how much their decision is shaped by how the information is framed. Psychologists refer to this as framing bias, where the way a choice is presented influences the decision. For years, staying in the Union has been framed as the safe option, while independence has been framed as the risky one. But what if we flipped that narrative? What if staying in the Union was the riskier choice, one that limits Scotland's potential and leaves its future in the hands of others? In the end, independence isn't just for those who already believe in it. It offers a brighter, more secure future for everyone in Scotland, including those who currently vote to remain in the Union. Independence is about creating a Scotland that works for Scots, where decisions about the economy, healthcare and education are made by Scots, with a budget generated by Scots, rather than decisions made in Westminster about how much we can actually spend. It's about building a country that reflects Scottish values, identity and aspirations. The real choice facing Scotland is not between risk and security. It's about deciding who gets to define that security. Independence gives Scotland the power to control its own future, to create the stability and prosperity that even those who vote for the Union are actually searching for. It will take a lot to convince our Scottish Unionist brothers and sisters, to convince them that they would be better off within their own country being a normal, autonomous nation. Their values are entrenched in the belief that their own country doesn't have what it takes to go it alone, that we need the broad shoulders of this union to survive. And then there's the simple fact that the independence movement is also a victim of divide and conquer by the same union that they believe in, and they mock us for it, and quite rightly so. For us to turn around the Unionist Scots to become yes voters, we need to sort ourselves out first. We need to lead by example and show unity within the grassroots and also from our political leaders. And tomorrow night at 11 p.m, live on YouTube and TikTok, we shall be discussing how the movement could and should come together to deliver a stronger pro-Scottish Holyrood, and then in turn, a more united grassroots movement. I hope you can join us. Thank you for watching. You have an amazing day.
I can't get no sleep.